right, guys, we are back. You are watching theconnorsreport.com, coming to you from Burbank Studios in Los Angeles, California. I'm going to read you something here real quick to open up this segment with what we're going to play for you. After a show just a few days ago, Stuart Rhodes, Idaho Oathkeeper, sorry guys, Idaho Oathkeeper, and Todd Engel, a veteran of the Bundy Ranch and the Jason Van Tate Hof, called LaVoy on the phone. And they wanted him, they warned him that it was clear that the FBI was going to, step it up. And the state of Oregon had put a place all on personnel, approximately 400, and equipped, needed to shut the occupiers down. And they, by our estimation, and the action was imminent, with 2 or 3 days tops. And we urged him to consider making a tactical move. What kind of tactical move? Folks, listen to this. You ready? Hold your seats, my friends. I'm going to play the first part of it. And let me make sure. All right, guys. Sit back and listen to this.
Hello, this is LaVoy.
LaVoy, hey, it's Jason Van Tate. How you doing?
Very good, Jason. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hey, I've got Stuart and Todd Engel on the line. They have something important they want to talk with you about real quick, if you're able to do that.
I am.
Hey, LaVoy.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I mentioned on the radio we were talking about the sheriffs. I think that'd be something you guys should really think about. Jason, do you mind if I ask a question?
Please do. Go ahead. Stuart's on the line with us here, LaVoy.
Hey, sure. LaVoy, this is Stuart Rhodes with Oath Keepers. So you said in Cedar City, that's Sheriff Mark Dower's territory, Iron County. Can you tell us a little more about what's going on there?
Okay, guys, I just want to fill you in here real quick. This is the first part that you want to listen to. There's another part also to this, okay? So don't go anywhere. This first one is 15 minutes long. The second one is also 15 minutes long. Stand by.
Okay, they met in Cedar City, which is Iron County, but the two counties that I have met with that are really strong, and that sheriff in Cedar City may be just as strong, but the ones that I met with were in Paiute County and Wayne County. And that's where a lot of those ranchers came from. And so they met in Cedar because apparently there were ranchers over there. They would have met in Paiute. So anyway, the two
Sheriff Mark Dower is a very strong sheriff. He's definitely a constitutional sheriff. And I think it's incredibly important for you to find good sheriffs and make that all strong.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
If those three counties, because they're kind of neighboring counties, I mean, if they band together, see what happens is the proper way for this to be done is for the sheriffs to uphold and throw the feds out to protect their own citizens. And those sheriffs that I listened to in Paiute County in that meeting they had me come and speak to those number of months back, he says, I will stand up and I will protect you and what you guys have. And that's amazing, because then he can call upon whatever resources he needs. He can call upon the citizens themselves. He can deputize his own people, and so we're only here when a sheriff fails to do his job. Had Sheriff David Ward done his job and provided protections for his citizens here, this whole thing would not have happened. If he would have stepped in and protected the Hammonds until they had a chance to re-examine to the evidentiary hearing that was called upon to be had, a legal redress, just to re-examine it. Had he done that, we wouldn't have been here. Hammonds wouldn't be in prison, and so that's the proper way, and we're so grateful for those constitutional sheriffs.
Guys, do we have
That certainly is the strongest way to do it. Then you have what's called doctrine of imposition, is where the sheriff or the state has an obligation to stand up and protect the people against abuse by the federal government, just as the federal government is supposed to protect them from abuse by the states.
Yes. Yeah, and the only reason why the citizens themselves and the militia,
my friends, this is
involved is when
one day
when
before,
the sheriff, which is the last line, fails, and then the citizens, it's left to citizens to uphold the life, the liberty, and the property of his fellow citizens. But we're charged to love our neighbor as ourselves, and so we cannot let what happened to the Hammonds, to Dwight and Stephen, to go unchecked. If we do, it shall become the new normal for America. It will be a type and shadow for all Americans that the federal government and any government may treat them in such manner with impunity. And so we cannot let this stand.
How many sheriffs total do you have that are on board to stand up like that?
Personally, the only ones that I have seen and visited with a little bit are those in Utah, in Wayne and Paiute County. I have in my county sheriff in Mojave County. When the feds came in and said, we want to deal with this Mr. Finchem, and we want you to deputize him, he says, no, I'm not going to deputize you. So I'm going to throw in a good word for Sheriff Jim McCabe in Mojave County. So I said, well, thank you, Sheriff McCabe. I appreciate that. He says, I told them not to point guns at you, Mr. Finchem, and Mr. Finchem, I'm saying, don't point guns at them. And I said, you know what? That is a dang good deal. I can live with that. Don't need to point a gun if the gun's not being pointed at me, and that's the way it should be.
And I think really the most important thing that we got there was, these counties where the sheriffs are stepping up, and you've got the rancher.
Okay, want to stop that right there. The rest of it basically is some other stuff that it was basically they had hung up on him, ended the conversation, and that's a whole new separate piece that was recorded. Now, what I'm going to play you now, these gentlemen in the radio, in the business, and recording business and TV and stuff like that, sometimes you leave mics hot, and and people hear what you're saying, and it's all, hey man, guys, can you stop talking and all that stuff, right? Well, this is what happened here. After the conversation with LaVoy Finicum, they forgot to turn off the microphone. They forgot to turn off the recorder. Trust me, it happens a lot. All of you guys out there that are in the radio business like me and these guys here, you know what I'm talking about. It just happens. All right, so they decide that they're going to call Mr. Finicum back and speak with him. They have some other things that they'd like to talk to him about. Forgetting, again, that this microphone was hot and the recorder was hot. Now, not only did they forget that the microphone was hot and the recorder was on, they didn't even know they had recorded it. They had no idea. They stopped the recorder later, boom, they thought the mics were all down, everything was down. They sat there for quite a while thinking that everything was down. And then they had this conversation I'm going to play for you with Mr. LaVoy Finicum. And it sucks. So I'm going to close this segment and give the whole 15 minutes to that piece. We're going to need it. Seriously. All right, guys, this is Mark Connors on American Media News. Thanks for joining us tonight. Today is Friday, West Coast. It is 7:53 on the West Coast, Los Angeles, California. Probably a good, it's like about 73 degrees out there on the West Coast. Guys, we'll be right back after this. Don't go nowhere. Trust me, you're going to want to hear this next.